Hello, welcome to my channel. If you can hear my cat, I'm sorry. He's present as always. My name is Ramina, and today we're going to talk about my 15 favorite FMCs of books. Last week we did my favorite book boyfriends, and now it's the girls' time. I think that FMCs are way more important in the story than the love interests. But usually we are so in love with the boyfriends that we forget how much we appreciate the FMCs. Today is the day that we're going to appreciate them and give them the light and shine that they deserve. Like last week, we're going to start at number 15 and we're going to get to 1. At number 15, I've put Meredith from If We Were Villains. I don't think many people love Meredith, but I really appreciate her character. I love that she puts herself first always. And even though she's in a very bad position, she tries to get out of it unscathed. And I think that's very important because in books, we usually have characters that put others first. And that's very, very important, and that's very nice of them. But it's very important to have characters that put themselves first sometimes, and they care about themselves as much as they care about their loved ones. And Meredith was that kind of character. She took what she wanted, she knew that she was pretty and she was desirable and she owned that and she showed that she was both very pretty and very intelligent and she was not afraid or shy to use both of them to get what she wanted. Sometimes it made her a self-centered person and sometimes that hurt other people, but I loved her. And I wanted her to have this time because I haven't really heard people talk about her. Number 14, we have Isabella from the Memoirs of Lady Trent. Isabella was a very curious character. She had a very amazing work ethic. She loved studying, she loved doing science. I believe that the first love of Isabella's life was science and learning and dragons. So I really loved watching her character from a very young age, put knowledge and her academic life first, because first she was doing it as a secret and she was so in love with learning about dragons that she found every way that she could to just learn more and more and more. And I loved watching her grow into a very well respected scientist. I just love women who have a very important goal in their life. And even though she fell in love and that love was beautiful, her love of learning was always first. And I think that's very important for us to know that we can have love and romantic relationships and also have a very important career that we care about more than anything. Number 13, we have Irene Towers from the Throne of Glass series. I loved Irene. She comes out way later in the series. We see glimpses of her at the beginning, but her important role is at the end of the series. And I loved and appreciated Irene because we saw all of these warrior queens and girls that fought with swords and magic and nails and everything. We had very dangerous women, cunning women. And that I love. They're going to come up in this list. But what I loved about Irene is when we first saw her, at the first beginning part and at the end, she's a very kind, sweet, soft character. And we realize that there's so much power in her, not magical power, which yes, but strength in her. And I love the fact that after having so many hard and rough characters that had to fight tooth and nail to get what they want, and they had to become very, very hardened in the years that we had to follow them. We had Irene, a character that went through so much trauma and hardness and still stayed very soft, kind, and warm-hearted. I think there's a quote that Aelin tells her that the world needs more healers. I think that series really needed an Irene, and I love the fact that SJM put her there to balance the whole roughness with this very sweet softness power. And I love the fact that she wasn't less than the other characters because she remained soft and kind and warm hearted. And I think this series wouldn't be the series that it is without Irene Towers, the healer. My role model. I want to be a doctor, and when watching Irene work on her patients, I was like, I want to be that kind of healer. Number 12, we have Renee from All for the Game series. Renee is the female version of Andrew Miniard, with the difference that when people look at Renee, or even when we look at Renee, she's tiny and she looks very kind, very, very quiet. So everybody thinks that she's such a little cutie, but she's so dangerous. In the rest of the series, we realize that if Renee wants, she can kill everybody. She can hurt everybody. She's the most trained, most powerful character there, and she's very, very dangerous. Nobody just realizes it because she's quiet and she has decided to be a good, warm person, but deep down, she's exactly like Andrew. They are the same character in slightly different fonts, and I loved Renee for that. I love that she has very little dialogue in this book series, but she's a very important character, and when she speaks, you know that she's going to change the game because of the kind of person she is. And I hope that we have more of Renee because she was barely there, but she was so charismatic, and I love to have a book just about Renee and what she wants to do with her life. And also, I love her colorful hair. I hope she becomes a queer queen because she looks queer to me. Number 11, we have Violet Sorrengail from the Empyrean series. I know that many people love Violet, and I like her when I'm reading from her. I want more from Violet. I loved her in the first book, but right now in the second book and the third one, I just expect more from Violet, and every time she just falls short. I feel like she is intelligent enough to figure some things out, but she doesn't. And I feel like she's dumbing her down just so that we can have that questioning and mystery in the series. To make that suspense going, we are dumbing Violet down. And I think that's becoming a disadvantage to her character, that sometimes she's very brilliant and figures some things out that were barely hinted at, and sometimes she just doesn't get it, and it frustrates me. So I'm losing my love for Violet, and I think that I wish she was quicker and wittier, and I just love her when I'm reading from her, but not enough to stick with me. I think Xaden is outshining Violet too much, and we are not giving Violet enough respect and time to grow. But she is still very lovable to me, so that's why she's at 11. Let's get to the top 10. At number 10, we have Nina Riva from Malibu Rising. I have never heard of somebody talking about the characters in this book of Taylor Jenkins Reid's. People love Daisy, people love Evelyn, they love even Celia, but never the characters from Malibu Rising. I think loving Malibu Rising wants a different type of taste than the other books, and that is my taste. I love Malibu Rising. Not more than Daisy Jones, but more than Evelyn Hugo. I just love that book. I love the dynamic between this family, and I think that there's a kind of experience that you want in your life to love this book. I'm not saying that you need to be experienced enough to love this book. I'm just saying that there are some things that can happen to you in life and some family dynamics that if you get it, you get it. Nina Riva is the eldest daughter. the typical eldest daughter, and you read from her perspective in this book, and at least I did, and you feel the weight of the world and the weight of her siblings on her shoulder, and I got that so much. She was the one that had to hold up everybody else. I remember a scene in this book that something very traumatic happens to the siblings, and Nina is very young in this scene. But while everybody's falling down physically, crying, she's the one holding the three of them up. And she's so tiny in this scene. And she's just a little girl putting her whole family together. And she always had to put everyone first and lost a lot of the time that she could be a young kid just to protect everyone else. And at the time of reading this book, my parents were going through a divorce, and I was feeling that pressure on myself. And I loved Nina for the person that she was. And I wished at that time that sometimes I could become as strong as Nina, and I just love her. And I think that she's not appreciated enough. And when we are talking about eldest daughters and what they have to go through, nobody ever points at Nina. Nina is the picture of the eldest daughter, and I think she needs more love and appreciation. Number 9, we have Sabine from Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil. I read this book this year because it was published this year, and even though I did not love it as much as I wanted to, and I gave it 4 stars, I think, I really appreciated the character of Sabine. She was totally morally gray. At some points, you could agree with her. At some points, you didn't agree with what she was doing, and you could see her flaws, but you still were rooting for her. And at some points, you were like, ooh, you crossed the line. You crossed the line so much, and you could be angry at her. And I appreciate V. Schwab for writing a character to just be a normal person with good things and bad ones, and not just write a character that you're going to love all the way through. And she had so many big mistakes that might be unforgettable and unforgivable. And I love her for the fact that she was so real. She was one of the realest characters that I read. And I loved her, even though I couldn't agree with so many things that she did. But I loved her as a character. Number 8, we have Moira from Evocation by F.C. Gibson. Even though the focus of this book is not on Moira, she is one of the POVs. We have 3. We have Race, David, and Moira. Moira is a little bit of a side character compared to Reese and David, but I loved Moira. She was so mature, like the maturest of matures. She was an amazing, loving wife and partner. And I just love her for the fact that she was the one that looked at her husband and his ex and was like, you two have a soul bond with each other. And I'm not jealous of that. I love the fact that you have somebody that loves you as much as I do. And we have enough love in our marriage, and we trust each other enough that we can bring somebody else in and spread this love and make it bigger and even more beautiful. And she was the one that built this poly relationship, and it wouldn't be there without her. And the relationship between David and Race, if it was just the 2 of them, would not be half of the thing that they built with Moira. And I love the bond that she built with David, from going from hating David to understanding and loving him. Even though they don't have a romantic relationship, they are still soulmates in a platonic way. And that was just beautiful. I just love strong, kind women, not just cold-hearted, angry women. I love women to be powerful even when they are very, very soft and kind. Number 7, we have Braxton from Lilac. Braxton was way more powerful than I am, holding herself back from these three rock stars. All three of them wanted her, and even though she had to give in at some points, she there were times in this book that she said no to all three of them. Couldn't be me. Could not be me. Seriously. If any rock star comes to me and is like, I love you, or even less, is like, let's have a fling with each other, I'm there. I'm sorry. I wish I was stronger, but I wasn't. But she was. She was like, no, I I know my worth, and it is way more than the three of you playing whatever game it is that you are. As long as you don't figure it out and say sorry to me, can't be yours. And I was like, girl, love you for that. Good for you. And the spicy scenes, nothing more to say. Number 6, we have Kath from Last Night at the Telegraph Club. That's a very beautiful historical queer story, and I love that. But Kath, my first female crush in books. That was one of my queer awakenings. I read scenes with Kath wearing suits, and I was like, oh, I'm gay. Oh, I love girls. And that was Kat. I just wanted her here because I had the biggest crush on her, and she's a very strong character to live in that time, and she has to deal with her own insecurities and Lily's struggles, because it's very hard for Lily to accept her own queerness because of the family that she has, and Kath suffers for that, and it makes it harder for her. But I love her, and she's amazing, especially in the few amount of scenes, romantic, sexual scenes that we had. I had them vividly in my brain because that was the first time I was reading a scene between two girls, and I was learning so much. I did later on use those knowledges, just so you know. We get to top 5. Here we are. Character number 5, Manon Blackbeak, the Queen of the Witches. Of course, Manon Blackbeak is on this list. What are you talking about? Just look at her. See that picture? That's the reason. I have nothing more else to say. She's a bad bitch. She is just tears your throat out with her nail kind of woman. She's the don't talk to me disrespectfully or I will kill you type of woman. She's the amazing in bed kind of woman. And she and Dorian, the flirting, that was top level. Manon brought out the best and hottest in Dorian, and I appreciate her for that. I appreciate her for the kind of leader that she is. I appreciate her for her attitude and for the fact that she never was sorry. She did what she wanted, and if anybody has a problem with that, that's their problem, not hers. And I love Manon for that. Thank you, SJM. I haven't read the last book yet, but I think I know what's going to happen, and I wish she had a better ending. Number 4, we have Poppy or Penelope Belfer from Blood and Ash series. Castile was my number 1 book boyfriend in that list, and Poppy is here too. I did not like Poppy in the first book at all. I was so angry at her, and I was like, grow up, realize what's going on around you. I did not really love her in book 2 either. She was growing on me, but I was like, I've read better characters. At book 3, Poppy became the character that I love, and I kind of loved the arc that she went through, and I appreciated the naive character that she was in the beginning more, because then I realized that what she could become, and I cannot wait to see the kind of queen that she's going to be from now on. I cannot wait to read the next book. Poppy went from a character that annoyed me to a character that I adore. She gained her power, she became more confident, she grew into herself. And I loved watching her go through that. And I love the fact that she's now loving her body, loving her scars, and she's great at spicy scenes. And she's not afraid to admit that she likes them. She goes red, but she says it. She's good at saying what she wants and what she needs. And she learned to not hide herself. And I love the fact that she used to hide every piece of herself. And now she's gaining confidence in the person that she is. And I cannot wait to read the rest of the series. And I cannot wait to have that scene that I have been waiting for these whole three books, The Joining. If you know, you know. I haven't read it yet. The fourth book, The War of the Two Queens, I haven't read yet. Cannot wait. Cannot wait. Serafina is not on this list because I'm at book one of the prequel and she's not yet the character that I want her to be. Maybe like Poppy, I'm going to love her way more in the third book or second book. But right now, Sarah doesn't deserve to be in this book, at least in my opinion. Number 4, Calypso Callie Lillis, The Bargainer. Des was my second book boyfriend on that list, and Callie is number 3, FMC. I just loved Callie. I loved the fact that she was very frank, very honest. She said what she wanted to who she wanted. She was never afraid, never shy. She was funny, very funny. Her internal monologue was not irritating, it was very witty and funny. She could easily admit what she wanted. She was never too shy or too proud to be like, well, I want you and I want to fuck you. And she did. And I loved her for that. And I loved the fact that she never became more shy or more introverted, and she was who she was, even though she went through a lot. And I cannot wait to see who she's going to become. I only read the first book of that trilogy, and I love Callie, and I think she's very different with other FMCs that we have, in that she knows that she doesn't know everything. She knows her faults, she knows her strength, and she appreciates all of them and tries to get better. And I love the fact that she didn't make me want to murder her. Okay, the top 2. Oh. Second FMCs, we have Daisy Jones. Daisy Jones is an iconic character. Nobody will ever be Daisy Jones. I have pictures of Daisy Jones in my head, not from the TV, which I loved her there too, but I have pictures of her in my brain from reading the book the first time. I can close my eyes and see Daisy dancing on the stage. I can see Daisy doing lots of things. And I love Daisy for the woman that she is. I love that. I feel like if every woman reads this book, she's going to be a way more confident and more high achieving that she already is. Daisy was the character that was very flawed, with a lot of trauma, being herself. And I loved watching her do whatever it is that she was doing at each moment. I loved her free spirit. And I love the fact that she worked on herself so much. And at the end of that book, she became an even more amazing woman. And I just wish she had a better partner than Billy. And she was in love with a man more worthy than Billy. She deserved more. I just think she's iconic. And there's that lyric in the books. The lyric of the songs in the book are way different with the TV show, even though I love that playlist too. But there's a lyric in this book that's like, dancing barefoot in the snow, cold can't touch her high or low. And that's Daisy Jones. The Daisy Jones in the book, not wearing bras, wearing short pants. Love her. You know it's not my job not to turn you on, right? Daisy Jones is amazing. And at number one, my queen, my role model, the person I will bow to, the person that I will worship, Aelin Galathynius. Aelin Ashriver Galathynius. No character is ever, until the rest of the days, is going to be Aelin. I know we have a lot of problems with SJM, and I do not believe that SJM can ever write a series like she did in Throne of Glass. But Aelin, when I see an edit of Aelin, I just go nuts. Aelin is the queen. Aelin is brilliant. Everything that I want to be is in Aelin. She's strong, brilliant, very powerful, very self-confident. She goes through everything and survives. At some days that my depression is through the roof, I'm like, if Aelin could go through all of that, you can get out of bed. She's the one that changed my life. On the days that I don't know if I can say it here, my suicidal ideations were going so high that I was worried, and I was like, you shouldn't do something to yourself. I wrote Fireheart with a pen on my arm, and that saved me. Knowing that a character could be like that, I was like, I want to be that strong, and I want to survive like she did. Aelin just saved my life many times and changed it for the better. And I love the character that she is. I know that she has her flaws. I know the fact that she never shares her plans with other people can be irritating, but I just love her. Love her. And I will never love a character more than I love Aelin. My number one is always going to be Aelin Ashriver Galathynius. Always. Thank you so much for watching my video. Please subscribe to my channel, like and comment down below. Thank you so much for being here. I love you. See you in the next video. Bye.